In the hyper-socialized landscape of 2026, you have been tricked into believing that your worth is a democratic decision. You check your screens for likes, you scan the room for nods of agreement, and you edit your soul to fit the expectations of people who don't even know their own purpose. But in this 65th chapter of our journey, we expose the prison of approval. Christopher is here to tell you that the moment you care about what a stranger thinks of you, you have granted them ownership over your nervous system. You are no longer a sovereign king, you are a court jester performing for the crumbs of validation. Most people spend their entire lives looking into the social mirror, trying to fix a reflection that was never theirs to begin with. We are shifting from external validation to internal absolute. We are initiating the Indifference Protocol. If you want to move with power, you must first become comfortable with being misunderstood, disliked, or completely ignored by the masses. The matrix functions on the social credit of your emotions. It wants you to stay in a constant state of anxiety about your status, your reputation, and your likability. This is how it keeps you in line. In chapter 65, we enter the realm of psychological autonomy. We are moving beyond the cliché of not caring and entering the surgical domain of strategic apathy. We are teaching you that true freedom is not the absence of critics, but the absolute lack of interest in their existence. By the end of this transmission, you will understand that a lion does not lose sleep over the opinions of sheep, not because he is arrogant, but because he operates on a completely different frequency of reality. The era of being a people pleaser is over. The era of the bulletproof sovereign begins today. Your life is not a debate, and you do not require a majority vote to exist in your greatness. Understand the nature of public opinion. It is not a reflection of your character, it is a reflection of the crowd's collective insecurity. When people judge you, they are not seeing you, they are seeing the parts of themselves they are too afraid to explore. Christopher's Indifference Protocol is built on the realization that most social noise is ghost data. It has no substance. It cannot stop your heart, it cannot drain your bank account, and it cannot block your vision unless you give it permission to do so. In the American social hierarchy of 2026, outrage is a hobby and judgment is a drug. If you try to manage your reputation in a world of addicts, you will go insane. The sovereign man builds an internal fortress where the gate is locked from the inside. He listens to the advice of the elite few whom he respects, and treats the roar of the crowd as nothing more than the sound of wind against stone. This is the armor of apathy. When someone criticizes your path or mocks your ambition, your reaction determines your status. If you get angry, you have lost. If you explain yourself, you have submitted. But if you look at them with sovereign indifference, a gaze that says, "Your words have no weight in my universe," you have won. This indifference is the ultimate power move because it cannot be argued with. You are signaling that you are untouchable. You are operating on a high-value baseline where your self-worth is a closed loop. By withdrawing your emotional investment from the public market, you become inflation-proof. While everyone else is crashing because they lost their social standing, you are standing tall because your standing was never dependent on them. Absence of reaction is the highest form of dominance. One of the most liberating realizations in the Christopher repertoire is the power of being the villain. To the mediocre mind, any man who is free, focused, and unapologetic will eventually be labeled as arrogant, cold, or difficult. Most men spend their lives trying to prove they are good guys to avoid these labels. They compromise their vision to stay likable. But the sovereign king embraces the labels. He understands that being the villain in the eyes of the lost is a sign that he is found. In chapter 65, we study the antagonist's clarity. When you stop trying to be the hero of everyone's story, you finally have the energy to be the hero of your own. Indifference to being the bad guy is the ultimate psychological jailbreak. It allows you to make the hard decisions that lead to greatness without the paralyzing fear of what will they say. In 2026, cancel culture and social shaming are used as digital guillotines. But you cannot guillotine a man who has no head for the crowd's crown. Christopher teaches you to desanctify the opinions of others. They are not sacred. They are not wise. They are usually just echoes of the last thing they heard on a screen. By seeing the smallness of the people judging you, their judgment loses its power. You realize that you are being criticized by people who are too afraid to even start their own journey. Why would you take directions from someone who has never left their hometown? Why would you value the moral compass of a crowd that is lost in the fog? Your indifference is your sovereign shield. It creates a space where you can innovate, fail, succeed, and evolve in absolute peace. Let them write their scripts, you are busy building the theater. The secret to true indifference is not caring about nothing, it is caring about the right things. This is the hierarchy of respect. You must replace the global audience with a very small, very elite, internal audience. This audience consists of the masters who came before you, the version of yourself you want to become in 10 years, and perhaps 2 or 3 peers who are actually in the arena with you. If these entities approve of your move, the rest of the world can burn in its own confusion. Christopher's internal calibration is about sharpening your own standards until they are more demanding than anything the world could throw at you. When your own self-judgment is the highest court in the land, that a small claims court of public opinion becomes a joke. You are not being antisocial, you are being pro-sovereign. In the digital noise of 2026, everyone has a microphone, but very few have a message. If you listen to every voice, you will lose your own. Practice selective deafness. When you walk through a room of critics, imagine their voices are in a language you don't understand. See the visual performance of their judgment, the frowning faces, the pointing fingers, and see it for what it is, performance art of the insecure. By maintaining your cool center, you are demonstrating that you are the frame, and they are just the background. This internal audience doesn't care about your likability, it cares about your integrity. Did you do what you said you would do? Did you stay true to the mission in the dark? If the answer is yes, then you have already won. The crowd's applause is just noise, their silence is even better. Move with the quiet confidence of a man who knows his debt to the world is zero. As we conclude this 65th transmission, I want you to take the vow of the Bulletproof. From this moment forward, you will stop seeking permission to be yourself. You will stop checking the wind of public opinion before you set sail. You will realize that being disliked by the wrong people is actually a resource, it keeps the parasites away from your garden. In the noise of 2026, your indifference is your most sophisticated weapon. It is the wall that allows you to build in peace and the light that reveals the true character of those around you. You are no longer a servant of the crowd, you are the sovereign king of your own inner empire. You are the architect, the judge, and the absolute authority. Let the world shout, you are listening to the heartbeat of your own destiny. The transmission of the 65th is complete. The Indifference Protocol is now integrated into your soul. Go out into the world today and test your armor. Notice the moments when you used to feel a sting of judgment, and feel the cold calm that has replaced it. Watch the theater of the masses with the amused curiosity of a scientist, but never, ever, join the cast. This is Christopher, ending the broadcast for the Bulletproof Kings of the New Era. Stay deep. Stay unshakable. Stay sovereign. The man who needs nothing from the crowd is the only one the crowd can never control. Farewell for now, you unshakable titan.